Welcome to Heartbreaker, your love radio. On the morning of her 40th birthday, Bianca stood in the bustling aisles of the supermarket, surrounded by the symphony of clinking carts and murmured conversations. Her fingers traced the edges of her shopping list as she mentally orchestrated the ingredients for the evening's culinary masterpiece. Each item selected was a brushstroke on the canvas of her dinner plans, a celebration of life's milestones with those nearest and dearest to her heart. Unbeknownst to Bianca, destiny lingered just beyond the sliding doors, poised to orchestrate an encounter that would unravel the threads of her mundane existence. As she maneuvered her cart through the maze of aisles, a quiet anticipation hummed beneath her skin, a premonition of the serendipitous encounter that awaited her. In the sun-kissed parking lot, the morning air crackled with a sense of expectancy. Bianca navigated the labyrinth of parked cars, her thoughts consumed by the logistics of her birthday celebration. Suddenly, the screech of brakes shattered the tranquil ambience, jolting her from her reverie. Heart-pounding, Bianca turned to see a car halting mere inches from her, its tires squealing in protest. A man emerged from the vehicle, his features softened by an expression of genuine concern. "I'm terribly sorry," he exclaimed, his voice laced with sincerity as he approached her. Caught off guard by the sudden commotion, Bianca offered a tentative smile in response to his apology. As he introduced himself as Robert, she felt a flicker of recognition ignite within her. There was something about his rugged charm and earnest demeanor that resonated with her, as though they were kindred spirits on parallel journeys through life's labyrinth. Robert's offer of a ride home caught Bianca off guard, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that fate was nudging her to accept. Hesitant but intrigued, she found herself nodding in agreement, her curiosity piqued by the prospect of this unexpected encounter. "Thank you, Robert." "That's very kind of you," Bianca replied, her voice tinged with gratitude as she settled into the passenger seat. "I appreciate your offer." "It's no trouble at all, Bianca," Robert assured her, flashing a reassuring smile as he started the engine. "I couldn't just leave you stranded here after my reckless driving." Well, I suppose I should consider myself lucky then," she remarked, her lips curling into a smile. "Though next time, I might prefer a less dramatic entrance." As they embarked on their journey, the car transformed into a sanctuary of shared confessions and revelations. Bianca found herself opening up to Robert in a way she hadn't with anyone else, the words flowing freely from her lips as though she were unburdening her soul to a trusted confidant. "I've been adrift in the monotony of my life," she confessed, her voice tinged with vulnerability. "I'm married to Alex, yet it's as though we're little more than strangers coexisting under the same roof. And with no children to fill the void, the silence has become deafening." Robert listened intently, his gaze reflecting a depth of understanding that took Bianca by surprise. "I know what you mean," he replied softly, his voice carrying the weight of his own unspoken struggles. Since my wife left, it's been just me and Evelyn, my daughter. Navigating parenthood solo has its challenges, but she's been my anchor through it all." Their dialogue ebbed and flowed like a river winding its way through the landscape of their shared experiences. In Robert's stories, Bianca glimpsed echoes of her own unspoken dreams and thwarted aspirations, each revelation forging a connection that transcended the boundaries of mere acquaintance. It was as though the cosmos had conspired to entwine their paths at this juncture, offering them a fleeting glimpse of an alternate reality where loneliness was replaced by companionship and despair gave way to hope. And as they journeyed through the labyrinth of their intertwined narratives, Bianca couldn't shake the feeling that perhaps, just perhaps, this chance encounter held the key to unlocking the next chapter of her life. Upon stepping over the threshold of her once familiar abode, Bianca was met with a silence so palpable it seemed to echo with the weight of forsaken memories. The walls, once imbued with the warmth of shared laughter and whispered confessions, now stood as silent witnesses to the unraveling of a bond that had once been unbreakable. Alex, her husband, occupied a physical presence in the room, yet his mind seemed to reside in a realm far removed from their shared reality. Engulfed in a sea of paperwork, his gaze distant and preoccupied, he barely acknowledged Bianca's entrance with a perfunctory greeting. Alex," Bianca murmured softly, the syllables laden with a yearning for the connection they had once shared. But her words were met with only a hollow response, a mere echo of the affection that had once flowed freely between them. As evening descended, casting a soft glow over the intimate gathering of friends, the flicker of candlelight danced across the faces of Bianca's guests, casting fleeting shadows upon the walls. Estefania, ever perceptive, leaned in with a concerned expression, her voice a gentle caress against the backdrop of hushed conversations and clinking glasses. "You seem distant tonight, Bianca," she whispered, her eyes filled with unspoken empathy. "What weighs on your mind?" Bianca hesitated, the weight of her thoughts pressing heavily upon her chest. But in the presence of her trusted confidante, the dam of her emotions threatened to burst forth, releasing a torrent of pent-up fears and uncertainties. "I've been contemplating my former career in graphic design," she confessed, the words tinged with a wistful longing for the creative outlet she had once cherished. "I used to pour my heart and soul into it, but Alex, he never saw it as a legitimate vocation." Daniel, the voice of reason amidst the sea of swirling emotions, interjected with a wisdom born of experience. But it's your passion, Bianca," he urged, his tone gentle yet firm. Why deny yourself the opportunity to pursue what brings you joy? Life is too fleeting to harbor regrets." Their words, infused with kindness and encouragement, served as beacons in the fog of Bianca's uncertainties, guiding her toward the realization that perhaps it was time to reclaim the fragments of herself that had been lost amidst the confines of an unfulfilling marriage. But just as the glimmer of hope began to take root within her heart, fate intervened with a cruel twist of fate. An inadvertent disclosure overheard, a clandestine conversation unraveled before her very ears, laying bare the painful truth that had long lingered in the shadows of suspicion. Madison, a name whispered with venomous intent, emerged as the harbinger of betrayal, her presence casting a pall over the fragile facade of Bianca's reality. Confronting Alex, her voice quivering yet resolute, Bianca implored him to confirm what her heart already knew to be true. And as the words tumbled from his lips, each syllable a dagger aimed at the heart of their shared existence, Bianca felt the foundations of her world crumble beneath her feet. Alex's admission, a confirmation of her worst fears, shattered the illusion of security that had once cocooned their marriage in blissful ignorance. With his confession hanging in the air like a heavy fog, Alex retreated into the arms of his deceit, leaving Bianca to grapple with the wreckage of their shattered dreams. And as she stood amidst the debris of their broken union, a solitary figure bathed in the harsh glare of reality, Bianca knew that she stood at a crossroads. The path ahead was obscured by uncertainty, yet she knew that she could no longer cling to the fragments of a life that had long ceased to nourish her soul. Amidst the debris of Alex's departure, Bianca found herself standing at a crossroads, the remnants of her shattered dreams scattered around her like fragments of a forgotten past. Yet, in the midst of this desolate expanse, she made a silent vow to herself, not to wither beneath the weight of betrayal, but to rise from the ashes and flourish anew. With each breath, she embraced the realm of infinite possibilities, bidding farewell to the house that had ceased to be a home and seeking solace in the embrace of newfound independence. Reacquainting herself with the world of work, Bianca rediscovered the exhilarating joys of her graphic design career. Each project became not just a means to an end, but a journey of self-discovery and empowerment, a step toward reconstructing the fragments of her identity that had been scattered in the wake of her broken marriage. The autonomy she found in her work was a balm for the wounds of betrayal, a reminder that she was capable of standing on her own 2 feet, even in the face of adversity. Meanwhile, the fragile facade of Alex's world began to crumble beneath the weight of his own deceit. Madison, whose affections had once seemed as fleeting as a passing breeze, revealed her true colors, laying bare the ulterior motives that had lurked beneath the surface all along. It became increasingly clear that her interest lay not in the warmth of a genuine connection, but in the allure of Alex's wealth and status. Their bond, built upon a foundation of lies and deception, faltered and fractured like a sandcastle swept away by the relentless tide. In the stark juxtaposition of Bianca's ascent and Alex's downfall, irony hung heavy in the air like a thick fog. Yet, within the depths of this irony, there lay a profound lesson, a testament to the transient nature of falsehood and the enduring strength of resilience and self-discovery. For in the face of adversity, Bianca had not merely survived, she had thrived, emerging from the crucible of betrayal stronger and more resilient than ever before. In the evolving mosaic of her life, Bianca found herself drawn once more into the orbit of Robert, the man whose chance encounter had sparked a flicker of hope in the darkness of her despair. Their initial camaraderie had blossomed into a bond that transcended the boundaries of friendship, growing steadily into an affection that mirrored the quiet warmth of a hearth fire on a cold winter's night. It was a love born not of fiery passion, but of mutual understanding and shared experiences of heartache and hope, a love that had weathered the storms of life and emerged stronger for it. And so, as Bianca and Robert's paths converged once more, they embarked together on a journey toward a future filled with promise and possibility. Hand in hand, they navigated the winding roads of life, their hearts intertwined like the branches of two ancient trees, weathered yet resilient in the face of whatever trials lay ahead. For in each other, they had found not just companionship, but a kindred spirit, a partner to share in life's joys and sorrows, triumphs and tribulations, now and for all the days yet to come. Their days overflowed with laughter and profound conversations, with Evelyn, Robert's daughter, blossoming into a delightful addition to Bianca's life. With each passing moment, she embodied the daughter Bianca had never bore, her boundless energy and insatiable curiosity infusing a new vibrancy into their shared existence. Together, they formed an unconventional family, a patchwork of love and understanding that defied conventional norms and flourished in the embrace of mutual affection. As twilight descended upon their tranquil abode, casting a soft glow over the balcony beneath a tapestry of stars, Robert reached out to clasp Bianca's hand in his own. His touch was a gentle reassurance, a silent affirmation of the love that bound them together. Bianca, he murmured, his voice a soft caress against the backdrop of the evening breeze. I never imagined that such happiness could exist beyond the confines of my past. You and Evelyn, you've brought an abundance of light into my life, a warmth that I never dared to hope for. Bianca's heart swelled with emotion at his words, her gaze meeting his with a depth of gratitude that transcended mere words. Robert, she whispered, her voice tinged with a mixture of awe and tenderness. You've given me something I thought I had lost forever, hope. You and Evelyn mean everything to me, more than I could ever express. Their existence, once marred by the shadows of betrayal and heartache, had assumed a tranquil, contented rhythm, a stark contrast to the tumultuous life Bianca had left behind. Yet even amidst the serenity of their newfound happiness, fate remained an unpredictable force, poised to disrupt the fragile equilibrium they had worked so hard to attain. And so it was that Alex, a specter from Bianca's past, re-emerged with a plea for forgiveness, his eyes brimming with contrition as he stood before her door, a solitary figure bathed in the soft glow of the porch light. Bianca, he began, his voice trembling with desperation and remorse. I have made a grave mistake, a mistake that I now realize has cost me everything. I am sorry, so profoundly sorry. Can we not attempt to mend what is broken? Can we not start anew together? But the woman he implored was no longer the same as the one he had abandoned, a fact that became painfully evident in the steely resolve that flickered in her gaze. Alex, she replied, her voice steady and unwavering. You are a chapter of my life that has been sealed shut. I have moved forward, and I have found genuine contentment in the life I now lead. It is time for you to do the same, to forge your own path as I have forged mine. Confronted by the tumult of emotions swirling within him, Alex stood there, his once proud countenance now marred by the weight of realization and regret. He was a man faced with the stark truth of his choices, forced to confront the irreversible consequences of his actions. Please, Bianca, he pleaded, his voice cracking with the weight of his emotions. I cannot bear the thought of a life without you. But Bianca's heart remained steadfast, unmoved by his impassioned entreaties. Alex, our paths have taken different directions, she replied, her voice steady despite the storm raging within her. It's time for you to find your own way, just as I have found mine. A pregnant pause hung heavy in the air, pregnant with unspoken truths and unvoiced regrets. Summoning her inner strength, Bianca steeled herself for the final revelation, the last piece of their shared narrative that would irrevocably alter the course of their lives. Alex, there's something you need to know, she began, her voice steady as she braced herself for his reaction. I'm pregnant with Robert's child. The words hung between them like a heavy fog, suffocating in their gravity. Alex's reaction was immediate, a tempest of fury erupting within him as disbelief gave way to escalating anger. You're what? Pregnant? He spat out, his voice laced with incredulity and rising ire. How could you move on so quickly, Bianca? How could you so easily replace me? But Bianca remained resolute, her composure a stark contrast to the storm brewing within Alex. Alex, this isn't about replacement," she replied, her voice calm yet tinged with a hint of sadness. "It's about moving forward, finding happiness. This child is not a symbol of loss, but of newfound love and hope." With those final words, Bianca watched as Alex, consumed by his own whirlwind of emotions, turned and walked away. The chapter of their shared existence gently closed, leaving her to embrace the burgeoning life within her, a life that symbolized not an end, but a new beginning. United in their love and shared odysseys, Robert and Bianca eagerly anticipated the arrival of their progeny with a mixture of excitement and elation, each passing day bringing them closer to the tangible realization of their dreams. Their home, once a hollow shell haunted by the ghosts of a bygone era, now reverberated with the joyful echoes of a family united in love and purpose. Evelyn, with her sparkling eyes and infectious laughter, seamlessly integrated into their dynamic, readily assuming the role of an adored elder sister. As they sat amidst the verdant embrace of their garden, watching Robert and Evelyn cavort in the dappled sunlight, Bianca often found herself reflecting on the profound beauty of their newfound happiness. "This is true contentment," she would muse, her voice a soft echo of the tranquility that suffused her soul. Robert, his gaze lingering on the scene before them, would nod in agreement. "Of our family, it's a mosaic woven from threads of love, resilience, and unwavering optimism," he would remark, his words a testament to the enduring strength of their bond. "Despite the storms we've weathered, look at the life we've built together." Their narrative, a tapestry woven from the threads of triumph and tribulation, transcended the wreckage of a dolorous past, standing as a beacon of hope in a world too often marred by darkness. It was a journey marked by moments of both heartache and triumph, each obstacle surmounted serving as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In the midst of life's tumultuous seas, their love remained steadfast, a guiding light illuminating the path toward a brighter tomorrow. As they gazed up at the twinkling expanse of the starlit firmament, their lives intertwined like the celestial bodies above. Bianca and Robert found solace in the knowledge that their story was far from over. For in each other's arms, they had discovered a love that transcended the boundaries of time and space, a love capable of weathering even the fiercest of storms. And so, as they basked in the gentle glow of the moonlight, their hearts brimming with gratitude for the journey that had brought them to this moment, they knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, they would face them together, bound by a love that was as enduring as the stars themselves.